In certain parts of the world, a mysterious and terrifying aura has been drawn around them. Stories about these places are passed down from generation to generation, and the legends only grow bigger with time. One of the most famous of these areas is the Bermuda Triangle, a vast stretch of the Atlantic Ocean connecting Miami in Florida, Bermuda Island, and San Juan in Puerto Rico. It's a huge area with incredibly deep waters, and it's always been linked to mysterious incidents. Ships vanishing from radar, planes losing all communication and never reaching their destination, as if the sea itself splits open and swallows them whole. More than 50 ships and 20 planes have simply evaporated from the face of the earth without a trace. No wreckage, no distress calls, nothing. It's as if they passed through a portal and were taken to another world. Naturally, the wildest theories took over the spotlight, and most people believed them. But the real question is, are these theories actually true? Or are there logical, scientific explanations for what's really happening in the Bermuda Triangle? Welcome, everyone. But before we dive in, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our videos the moment they drop. Now, when we go looking for a scientific explanation that could make even a massive ship sink in seconds, we come across one of the most exciting yet logical theories out there: the methane hydrate theory, also known as fire ice. Picture this with me. At the bottom of the ocean in this region, it's not just sand and rocks. There are enormous quantities of methane gas trapped in a frozen form, like ice. This substance is called methane hydrate. As long as the conditions remain stable, these hydrates stay frozen and harmless. But if that stability is disturbed, whether by a small underwater earthquake, a landslide, or a sudden change in temperature, the ice begins to melt. The methane gas trapped inside is suddenly released. When this gas escapes, it expands to about 160 times its original volume and shoots upward toward the surface in the form of a massive gas bubble. As this bubble rises, it completely changes the water around it. The water density drops dramatically, turning the sea into a foamy, bubbling mess that can no longer support any weight on the surface. It's as if the thick ocean water suddenly turned into air. All of this happens so fast that the ship's crew doesn't even have time to send a distress signal. There have been experiments that prove this theory is realistic, including a famous simulation conducted at Monash University in Australia in 2003. It didn't just show that a huge gas bubble could sink a ship, it proved the bubble could actually split the ship in half. The gas itself, when released in high concentrations, can suffocate anyone on board. And because methane is extremely flammable, the ship's engines could lose power or even explode. This scenario gives us a perfectly logical explanation for the sudden disappearances we keep hearing about. But does that mean this theory is the final, definitive answer to the Bermuda Triangle mystery? Of course, not everyone agrees with the methane hydrate theory. Many scientists and researchers completely reject it. Among them is geologist Bill Dillon from the U.S. Geological Survey and researcher Benjamin Frambose. They confirm that there is no physical evidence of any massive methane explosions occurring in the Bermuda Triangle area. So while the theory sounds logical and has been proven in labs, in the real world, it lacks solid material evidence. Another theory that tries to explain what happens in the Bermuda Triangle is the Gulf Stream, a massive underwater river flowing through the heart of the Atlantic Ocean. It starts in the Gulf of Mexico, passes through the Florida Strait, and cuts right through the Bermuda Triangle. This current moves approximately 30 million cubic meters of water per second. That's 1,700 times more than the flow of the Mississippi River. Its speed can reach up to 11 kilometers per hour. While that might seem slow on land, in the ocean it's terrifyingly fast. If a ship breaks down or a plane crashes, the Gulf Stream can carry the vessel, the wreckage, the bodies, and all evidence far away in an extremely short time. In just one day, it can transport everything more than 200 kilometers away. The problem doesn't stop at the speed. The Bermuda Triangle also contains the deepest point in the entire Atlantic Ocean, the Puerto Rico Trench, which reaches a depth of 8,375 meters. Any wreckage that sinks to this depth becomes almost impossible to recover with current technology. Not only that, the Gulf Stream itself can actually help cause the disaster. It's a huge mass of warm water moving through colder water. This temperature difference creates atmospheric instability above it, meaning the weather in the area can change in minutes. The sky can be perfectly clear, and suddenly a violent storm appears. Or the weather is calm, and without warning, thick fog forms that reduces visibility to zero. Sailors and pilots who aren't used to these rapid changes can find themselves in serious trouble with no prior warning. One last thing. When the ocean current collides with winds blowing in the opposite direction, it creates extremely high and dangerous waves. In the past, sailors used to tell stories about giant waves that suddenly appear in the middle of the ocean and swallow ships whole. People used to dismiss these stories as sailor myths. But on January 1st, 1995, the Draupner oil platform in the North Sea recorded a giant wave measuring 25.6 meters high, roughly the height of an 8 or 9-story building. That was the moment science officially confirmed the sailors' stories. These waves are now called rogue waves. What's even more surprising is not just their size, but how frequently they occur. The European Space Agency ran a project called MaxWave and used satellites to monitor these waves around the world. In just 3 weeks, they detected more than 10 waves higher than 25 meters. Imagine a wave the height of a 9-story building coming at you at high speed. The real danger of rogue waves, besides their terrifying height, is that they are completely unpredictable. They can appear even when the sea looks perfectly calm. So what does this have to do with the Bermuda Triangle? The Bermuda Triangle is considered a perfect breeding ground for rogue waves. Oceanographer Dr. Simon Boxall from the University of Southampton explained that the triangle sees the intersection of storms coming from different directions. Sometimes these storms cancel each other out, but other times they combine and build on top of each other, compressing the waves until you're suddenly facing a terrifying wall of water. The destructive power of a wave this size can destroy a 150-meter-long ship in a matter of minutes. Dr. Boxall's team even created a simulation of the USS Cyclops, the ship that disappeared in March of 1918 with 300 people on board. When they exposed the ship to a rogue wave in the simulation, the wave lifted the bow and the stern, leaving the middle of the ship suspended in the air. And the result? In less than 3 minutes, the ship was split in half. There was no time to send a distress call and no time to launch the lifeboats. If the ocean from below is full of traps, then the sky above the Bermuda Triangle is no less dangerous. The islands of the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos, located right in the heart of the triangle, have seen approximately 194 hurricanes since 1851. But aren't hurricanes something we can track and predict? So what could possibly cause planes or ships to flip without any warning? To understand this, we need to look at the phenomenon of microbursts. These are blasts of cold air that descend from a thunderstorm cloud like a bomb. They strike the surface of the water or land and explode outward in all directions. The wind speed in these downdrafts can reach up to 273 kilometers per hour, the power of a Category 5 hurricane. This force is strong enough to hammer the ocean surface and create instant waves over 12 meters high. That's a 4-story building. Now imagine a medium-sized boat or ship being hit by such a sudden, violent gust of wind accompanied by a massive wave like that. The same applies to low-flying aircraft, which are common in the area. If a plane flies into the heart of one of these air bombs, it will be slammed downward with enormous force, and the pilot can easily lose control. What makes this phenomenon truly terrifying is that it happens extremely fast and with almost no warning. Scientists believe these microbursts come from thunderstorm clouds that have been tracked by satellites, and they do indeed form frequently over the western side of the Bermuda Triangle. On top of that, the Florida Keys, located on the edge of the triangle, are considered the waterspout capital of the world, recording between 50 to 500 waterspouts every year. When we combine all these extreme weather phenomena in one single spot, we realize we don't need methane gas or flying saucers to make ships and planes disappear. Sometimes the simplest and most obvious explanation is right in front of us: human error. The final theory we have suggests that human factors are among the most important reasons behind the entire Bermuda Triangle mystery. When we go back to the statistics and the facts, we find that more than 50,000 ships pass through the triangle every year, an enormous number. Some people imagine that no one sails through this area, but the U.S. Coast Guard confirms that 70 to 75% of all boating accidents and disappearances happen because of inexperienced captains and navigators. The famous Australian scientist Carl Kruszelnicki has confirmed that the accident rate in the Bermuda Triangle, relative to the massive amount of traffic passing through it, is completely normal and not different from any other area in the world. Even the world-famous insurance company Lloyd's of London does not charge any extra premium for ships passing through the triangle, because there is no exceptional risk in their view. Moreover, the World Wildlife Fund, WWF, conducted a study in 2013 ranking the 10 most dangerous shipping routes in the world, and the Bermuda Triangle was not on the list. That's why the legend of the Bermuda Triangle might, in the end, be a manufactured mystery, created out of our love for thrill, excitement, and the supernatural. It was wrapped in dramatic stories and exaggerated tales by writers who added their own spices just to sell more books. While there's nothing wrong with exploring all theories, even the crazy ones, we should never ignore the logical, scientific explanations. Because sometimes, the truth isn't that exciting, but it's still the truth. And that's it. If you made it this far, make sure to leave a like before you go, so we know how many people reach the end. And don't forget, if you have suggestions for future videos, write them in the comments. See you.